The Great War has just begun, and as the First Lord of Admiralty, Winston Churchill is given the responsibility of leading the Dardanelles naval campaign, as well as the Gallipoli campaign, both of which ended in complete disaster. Because of his immense failure, he was probably demoted to officer and sent to serve on the Western Front, where he stayed for a year, until the Prime Minister made him the Minister of Munitions until the end of the war. And thus, the Great War was officially over, but 20 years later, a new threat has risen to power in Germany, and another war seems to be right around the corner. How will Winston Churchill respond to the coming battles? Find out now. But before we get to World War II, we have to go back to the past. The year is now 1874, and Winston Churchill has been born. He was raised in a wealthy aristocratic family. Growing up in a palace in Oxfordshire, he had a pretty good childhood. He was a poorly behaved student until he transferred schools when he was 7, where his behavior improved greatly. His dad wanted him to get into a military career, so his last years in school were spent preparing. Then, at the age of 19, he joined the military. In the military, he traveled all over the world, some of the more important locations being Cuba, India, and Sudan. And now that his early life is out of the way, we get to the exciting stuff. As soon as war was declared on Germany, Winston Churchill regained his rank as First Lord of the Admiralty. But this time, he maintained a good reputation. One of his first actions was when he ordered Captain Philip Van to board a German ship. The operation was very successful and ended up freeing 299 British merchants. He also had a plan to mine for iron ore in Norway to stop Germany from getting it, but the plan was delayed due to disagreements. While Germany was invading Belgium, Luxembourg, and Netherlands, the British government was trying to find a prime minister, and the only two candidates left were Churchill and this other guy named Lord Halifax. I think you already know who won. He made a lot of insanely important decisions during the war, like when he attacked the French fleet after Germany took France to prevent them from getting it, and being a big part in the planning of D-Day. Overall, his leadership was a lot better than it was in World War I, and without him, who knows if the Allies would have won the war. Churchill still worked in the government for about 10 years after the war. But in 1955, he finally retired at the age of 81. He spent most of his retirement in his home in London. Sadly, in 1965, Winston Churchill died at the age of 91 because of a stroke. He had many accomplishments in his life, and his legacy will never be forgotten. He was actually made an honorary citizen of the United States by JFK. He was actually a pretty good artist. He was actually half American. He is the only politician to be on British coins. He actually served as Prime Minister twice. Churchill actually had a speech impediment. This is most noticeable when he called Hitler a Nazi.
At any rate, that is what we are going to try to do.